Greetings, church. I just wanted to put some thoughts out there in regard to Maundy Thursday. It's a very special and sacred day in the life of the church. And I just wanted to share a little reflection with you this day. I want to share first by reading to you John 13. Hear these words. Now, before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and he had come from God and was going to God, he got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus answered, You do not know what I am doing, but later you will understand. Peter said to him, You will never wash my feet. Jesus answered, Unless I wash you, you have no share with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, One who has bathed does not need to wash, except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you. For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, Not all of you are clean. After he had washed their feet and put on his robe and returned to the table, he said to them, Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for this is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. When he had gone out, Jesus said, Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once. Little children, I am only with you a little longer. You will look for me, and as I have said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. This text is a familiar text. And sometimes it's so familiar that we don't really hear it. So if you need to, pause this video or pause this audio message and pause it to read it again. It seems useless to try and ascribe inner thoughts, trying to think about what really was going through the mind of Jesus when he grabbed that towel in the basin. It's hard to imagine, but sometimes I just picture myself. I have in my mind what Jesus is doing. I wonder, did he sigh at how much an important cultural greeting was missed by those who were charged to prepare the meal? Did he have a light bulb moment where he thought, maybe if I show them what I mean, they'll finally get it? Was it yet another opportunity to present his incarnated message to the words that he spoke? Or was it just a matter of course? He saw a need and decided to fill it, not thinking for a moment about what the disciples would respond to such an act. In the minds of the disciples, there was something demeaning about Jesus kneeling to serve in such a humbling way. That's why they all managed to overlook the opportunity. But for Jesus, it wasn't demeaning. It was an opportunity to serve. More than that, it was an opportunity to be who he came to be, to fulfill his purpose. After all, he said, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. So you look at this story, you have the supper, you have the washing of the feet. And I think there's probably a moment where the disciples were just confused. Jesus says, do you know what I have done for you? I'm sure Jesus could read it in their eyes. Nope. They had no clue. They didn't get it. They were still looking for the best seats. They were still looking for their rewards in heaven or on earth. They didn't know what he had done, which means they didn't know him at all. I think sometimes I envy the disciples. I think, man, if I only got to have sat around that table, really got to know Jesus on a personal human level. They got to spend that time with Jesus. They got to hear his voice and see his eyes. They let him wash their feet. They were right there. And I think they didn't get it. But if I was there, maybe I would have gotten it. Jesus says to them, I give you a new commandment. And that's where some of us are confused. I don't know, on several occasions my children have asked, why is it called Maundy? What does Maundy mean? Sometimes if we say it quick, people think we're just saying Maundy Thursday. But it's Maundy Thursday. And it comes from the Latin mandatum, or command. It's reference to the new commandment. The new commandment, he says later in this verse that I read, love one another as I have loved you. Accept the new commandment. It wasn't really new. Not really. Jesus had already acted it out in front of them his whole life. He was acting this commandment out every day. But yet to them it was new. Love one another as I have loved you. By serving, by getting on his knees, by bending to task that even fishermen thought was beneath them. Jesus acted out that commandment. Love like I loved. It wasn't supposed to be a once-a-year commandment. And I think that's maybe where we kind of struggle as a church. We've kind of turned Maundy Thursday into quite a ritual over the years. We think the only day that we should wash each other's feet is on Maundy Thursday. Did you know, here's an interesting thought, the Pope would find beggars, or his people would find some beggars, and they very publicly would wash their feet. The monarch of England would do the same until it got too comfortable. Now they hand out some money. Maundy Monday, it's called, once a year. It's become some type of ritual that the only day we're supposed to love and serve one another is on Maundy Thursday. But it was never supposed to be a ritual. It was supposed to be a way of life. Oh, foot washing isn't a part of our culture. That isn't necessary. That's not necessarily what it is saying. Washing feet is symbolic of servanthood, of loving one another. It's the willingness to serve that is the command. The Maundy on Thursday or Monday or any day of the week is Maundy. Other times, we need to just stop. We don't need to worry. We need to take the risk. Sometimes when we serve or love others, it doesn't turn out like we thought. So we don't want to anymore. But we need to continue to risk doing it wrong even. So today, this Maundy Thursday, I invite you to remember what Jesus did. to go back to that moment. But don't stay in the past. That's not what the command was. The command for Maundy Thursday is to love one another. So let's go do that.